What's up, guys? Connor Ferguson here for Always Race Day. A little emergency podcast tonight. Real quick, I do want to thank our partners over at the Carl Group for being our presenting sponsor. This is going to be kind of a short one. Probably keep it to somewhere under 20 minutes. I don't know where we're going to land because I'm going to get real passionate in a second about it. And we're going to do our regular shows on Monday, so we'll have everything from the weekend surrounding NASCAR, World of Outlaws, and David Gravel winning the final race at Devil's Bowl, everything that happened on Saturday. I thought if you're looking for analysis on that sprint car race on Saturday, Justin Fiedler really summed it up perfectly in his video today about the crazy conspiracy theories that I think a lot of people try to jump to because it makes sense in some parts of their head, and it doesn't really come across the same in others that maybe watch it more on a different side of the sport than a common fan. But wanted to come on here and talk about that dirt track world championship race tonight. Long day that I had, but certainly an exciting and very interesting race. And a lot of the show is going to be surrounding the format to the dirt track world championship and what they did this year on the Lucas Tour, and how it I guess ended up playing out tonight. Man, I cannot talk today. We'll get that fixed in the next few minutes here. Brandon Sheppard ends up winning the race. Hudson O'Neal ends up winning the 2023 Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series Championship. So okay, go for it, everybody. You know, everyone wants to, this championship doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything because Huddy won the last race and that's all he won. He had some wins this year, quite a few, actually. Had a pretty good season, but he won the championship on the night where it counted, right? And you can put an asterisk there if you want. That's fine, I guess. But what escapes me is when I see even late model drivers marketed, right? Even when they market these guys. The first time Jonathan Davenport's name was on the NASCAR broadcast, it was that he won however many worlds, however many dreams, or the Eldora Million. I'm pretty sure 2 of the 3 of those races were on there, and I can't quite remember the context of, it was at Bristol Dirt. I can't quite remember which ones were on there, but they reference races. They don't reference series long championships for some reason. I was always confused by that, and I don't know necessarily who put that specific graphic together, but others, when I've been getting into dirt racing and stuff like that, would bring up, oh, this guy won this many of this big races. They would never say this guy's won this many championships. The only series that would really get that treatment was the World of Outlaws. So I guess what I'm saying is the championship doesn't matter any less whatsoever. You can tomorrow, literally next year, even at the same event, wherever the hell they have it, right? You can award a regular season champion. And with this format, and that there's no point cutoffs or anything, it's strictly the first however many races and the last one. It's like a 2-round type of deal that you can kind of imagine it like that. But that last, you can award a champion, a regular season champion, after the penultimate weekend. Who said you can't? I don't think that would take anything away from anybody, and I don't think that would give Ricky Thornton Jr. too much credit. And maybe you throw some extra money on that and do that officially. But either way, how things are remembered is completely subjective to what the context of the conversation is, right? That night will be memorable because of what Hudson O'Neal did and getting to the front, because the format played out and did what it was designed to do and create reaction, create excitement around the sport. And really it delivered on all fronts. There was a ton of things about the race itself that I did not like whatsoever. I thought the track surface was bad at a big event at Eldora again. Okay. Again, they get hit with rain every time there's a big weekend there. It's the weirdest thing. I know they're trying, try harder, try something different. Maybe, I don't know. It sucks. Tore up equipment. There's 6 race cars that finished the race tonight. That's bad. That's a negative. There was a shit ton of yellows. And yet, in the last 20 laps, I thought there was two very obvious moments where you could have called another yellow flag. And my friend Jacob Horde over in Ohio, very quick to point out, you only get the yellow flag if you stay out on the racetrack going off the pace, not if you pull in. Here's the deal. There's other cars fighting for spots all over the track, and we have this subjective rule of you have to get to the finish line before the yellow comes out to get the spot that you just passed for. Well, you take that away either way with the caution, but there's stuff going on all over the place. So I think it still matters to call it on that Davenport one. Although I'm not nearly as pissed off about it as I am on when Moran came under, who was it? Was it Jimmy Owens? It was Jimmy Owens. When he came under Jimmy Owens coming out of 4. That was egregious. Call the yellow there. I'd be more of a fan if you protected your top 4 at all costs. If we're going to have this in, please, people, be vigilant on social media. They're throwing buzzwords out left and right tonight. The same NASCAR bullshit ones that you hear all year long about the most random thing, and it's just their version of saying something is mundane or weird to them. And it's the absolute worst practice in the world. But if you want to call the format a gimmick, if it's a gimmick already to create excitement, then I think you can throw in the gimmick of, yeah, we're going to be a little extra careful when we throw cautions based on who the top 4 in the championship are. And so if one of them's off the pace, we're going to throw a yellow and see if they can get the car back out there because we want this settled on the track. I think that is completely respectful. Feel free to disagree on that one. Some other things I didn't like. So the number of cautions, right? Usually a Wreckfest race isn't good. I thought the race was fantastic. So it kept me entertained the entire night. Great stuff. It went a little long. Sometimes races go on, is what it is. But there's not many races that have all those issues. And you turn around at the end of it and you go, that was worth the watch. That was good. That's probably like one of 3, maybe 4 I can name. I know one of those was a Roval race I watched that we did some arguing on the Asphalt podcast on it. So I think to what it was designed to do, and that was create excitement and create hype, I think they knocked it out of the park. I hope they keep doing it in the future. There's absolutely zero reason to compare it to what NASCAR does and say like we shouldn't do what NASCAR does because they lost a lot of fans in the 90s. It's the 2020s, guys. Like it's 2023. It's about to be 2024. Obviously I wasn't alive most of the 90s, but I don't give 2 shits about what happened in the 90s. Okay. It's a different sport now. Late model racing is different. Sprint car is different. There's more fans than there ever has been before, and you're trying to attract new ones. Do you think the people that stopped watching NASCAR in the 90s are going to turn on dirt racing today with this big subscription package they have to order to watch it? No, you got to do out of the box things to try and get some fans, and you got to keep it fair. But I thought they did. I thought they brought together the best of both worlds with the whole format and everything that happened. So I just don't see the complaints in anything, changing how they do this or making it different. From what they were saying is they voted on it. I don't know if that was, so on the Flow broadcast, they were saying groups of people voted on it. I don't know if that was drivers. I don't know if it was people in the industry, whatsoever. I'll ask around on that and kind of see where we're at in a couple of weeks there. But I thought overall, like through the night, so RTJ has that first issue, and already you're off the bat. There's maybe going to be someone to watch in the back of the field. Maybe there's going to be something going on elsewhere. Where are these other championship contenders? You're looking for them all night, right? That it just created, in obviously since we got into covering the sport and watching more of it in 2020, this race laps the field with the other dirt track world championships. Laps the field. I never really understood the name of it. Tonight, the name of that event lived up to its name, I should say. And if you're still, I know there's going to be people out there that are just like, this is stupid. It's a dumb way to determine a champion. Well, that's not what we do in 2023. Not in dirt racing. who, yeah, we're going to honor the season long champions at the end of the year, but that's all it's going to be. There's not a massive moment. You can win a World of Outlaws championship and not win the Knoxville Nationals. You can go win a Lucas Tour and not win this race, obviously. That doesn't define anything except for how your season was, right? Like, I'm struggling to figure out a way to articulate that the champion that is listed on something, yeah, you're going to look back on it in 20 years and be like, oh, he won that year. But you're going to remember the night that Hudson O'Neal had tonight. And the fact that he took advantage of that lucky dog rule saved it the entire season. Had it in his back pocket tonight. I would assume they knew they had it. I've not heard many people talk about that lucky dog rule. I like it a lot. But yeah, I mean, it's strategy. It was exactly what you wanted out of a championship night and the things that go on in between them. And what I was trying to get at was in 2023, and part of my job and what I tell people is the toughest part of my job, or maybe like the part of my job I do the most, is explaining to people in their words, compared to, I shouldn't say compared to the sport they watch, but explaining to casual people that don't know what dirt racing is, don't watch dirt racing, what's going on, why something's impactful, why are they doing it like this, and how good is this guy? Those are the four like most common questions I get asked by far. And when you have something like that, it caters itself to the major event weekends, right? We call them majors on our show all the time. We race all the time. We race every weekend, and a few times a year, different types of cars, different types of events, indoor, outdoor, Eldora, Knox, name whatever discipline, right? And there's a major event going on. This weekend's the weekend of this major event, right? That's what this whole sport is doing. It's being, I guess, boomed. It's growing on the precipice of having these major event weekends. And I think that's a massive part of it. It reminds me of golf. That's exactly how the PGA operates. And everyone goes to their FedEx Cup thing, and I don't really know the format to that. And people will talk trash about the format. It's like, okay, well, then don't consider someone a champion. I don't care. Like, doesn't matter to me. If the event rocks, then I'm going to hopefully watch it, and hopefully it kicks ass. And tonight and how they did that race, it was designed to kick ass. Now, that being said, I don't want it to be at Eldora every season. I want it to rotate. I wanted NASCARs to rotate for years. I hope they change the track that it's at every season and kind of work on a rotation. It doesn't need to be a 12-track rotation or something, but get a few different places in there that, have, I guess, A, the facilities, B, the weather. I would say track prep should be included in what I would want to see, but obviously that has no bearing on anything after tonight. So this is from Tim Truex on Loud Pedal TV as well. If you want more convincing that this format is fine, you can still feel bad for RTJ. You can still say he had the best year. No one's coming at you for saying that whatsoever. But every driver in the top 4 tonight made more money on Sunday than they would have in the 2021 edition of this event. So I don't know. You're getting more money. You're getting more excitement. You're doing exactly what this sport needs to keep adding fans and keep attracting new ones and keep people talking about it. And you just had a night where there's absolutely zero, no shortage of things to talk about. I think that's the biggest thing. And I will leave you guys, I think, on this point. Let me get to the end of it and we'll see if we're done yet. Every major we cover, there's usually talk of what the format for that weekend is going to look like, right? There's a lot of the same complaints year round at whatever event about whatever thing. And usually it's people that care. 95% of it is people that care. They want it to get better. That's why they're complaining. I like to say that's why I'm complaining. Sometimes people like to listen to it, but that's a different deal. I try not to think about those people. But I will have folks all the time, if I say anything remotely negative about that stupid ass big wheel that they have on the grounds at Eldora, I want to set it on fire. I want to destroy it. Inverts suck. I hate inverts. It's a gimmick, right? Buzzword. Exactly. It's the same type of deal. If you don't like this format, because I have people all the time, my thinking on it is, if we're going to watch cars qualify, if we have a 3-day race, so the first 2 days are all about qualifying for the race on Saturday, why should they be awarded for not being the fastest? Like, whoever is in the lead after Friday's standing should first in heat 1. Second guy, first in heat 2. Oh, that would take away the excitement from heat races. That's what you're going to say for the invert people out there. That's what you're going to say, would take the excitement away from the heat races. Okay, well, we just added some excitement to the A main. So why is that any different than this stupid ass invert argument? I think I've said my piece on that at the very least. So I enjoyed the race. I enjoyed the entire night, despite issues. Those issues would ruin a lot of races. They would sour the nights of a lot of series, a lot of people that put on races, a lot of people that put on broadcasts, watch broadcasts, and watch racing just for fun. It would have done exactly that. And I'm not crediting the format for the entirety of it, but 98% of why that race was delivered like it could was because of the invert they put forward. So we'll see if they go with it again next year. I hope they do. This was way better than any of the last few Third Track World Championships. It's not even close. It's not even remotely in the conversation. It's a fantastic series of events that went on at Eldora tonight. And I don't know. I guess we'll see what they do next year. We'll see what it turns out to be. I hope you guys end up enjoying this show. I know I was kind of everywhere with it. It's been a long day, but yeah, we'll be back Monday. I think I've gotten everything off my chest on that. Okay, we'll be all right. We'll talk more about it on Monday, and maybe we'll get Damon or Caleb to be really heavy on the on your guys' side and getting rid of this this format. So I thought it was great. Props to Lucas, props to Flo. Hope everyone that went to Eldora tonight enjoyed it. And if you just stayed home and watched, I hope that was a good time for you too. We'll be back Monday, and this has been Always Race Day. Thanks, guys.